Welcome back subscribers and hello YouTube viewers. On this occasion we're off to a township called Kongwak. Now Kongwak is a rural village in southern Gippsland. It's 135 kilometres or 94 miles southeast of Melbourne and only 15 kilometres northeast of Wonthaggi. Now all the research I've found is what I'll be doing with the voiceover. According to Bunce's language of the Aborigines of the colony of Victoria, which was created in 1859, Kongwak is an Aboriginal word meaning to catch or stop. Kongwak is on the tributary of the Powlett River in the southern foothills of the Strzelecki Ranges. The first farm selections at Kongwak were in 1883. There was a neighbouring settlement, Moyarra, 4 kilometres to the north, where a Presbyterian church opened in 1893. Kongwak, however, was the place chosen for the Moyarra Butter Factory, and when the factory was taken over in 1896 by a local co-operative, it was renamed Kongwak Butter Factory. Kongwak Post Office and Hall opened on the 11th of May 1898. And a school opened in 1899. The land around Kongwak was largely cleared of native vegetation and is now used for agriculture, especially dairying. This land was cleared by two brothers, a Richard Nutter Scott and a Frederick John Scott. Richard's Memorial Park can be seen on the Kongwak tennis grounds. Worth noting is the butter factory did run profitably. In 1925, its marketing logo was changed to Sunny South Butter, and in 1941, cheese making was added. By then, the cooperative had also taken over the town's general store and agricultural supplies, for which a modern building was constructed in 1953. Within 10 years, the cooperative found it necessary to merge with the Kongwak Butter Factory, but subsequent takeover by Murray Goldman led to its closure. Job losses resulted in an exodus of population. Despair still settled on the town for its centenary in 1983. So here we are at the scenic lookout, and it is a special lookout indeed. Now it is a foggy morning and it's just after 9 a.m. but as you can see, well, I'm not sure if you can see it that well, but with the naked eye it really is a spectacular view. Today Kongwak's main drawcard is its weekly market. The former general store and storerooms have a lot of undercover space, and there are covered areas outdoors. The market can function rain, hail or shine. So here we have the local garage for the township, and we'll check it out and see what we can find. Now, one could assume that these Bowsers are purely for show. What's that, 69.9 cents per gallon? And this one is 71.9 cents per gallon. That's pretty cheap. Well, at least we know where the Kongwak Uniting Church is, which we'll go and have a look. And just behind this large tree is where I'm guessing is the town hall. That looks pretty good. It's been modernised a bit at the entry there with the arch. And directly opposite this is the school, so we'll have a look at the school as well. So yeah, it is the Kongwak Hall, so you can hire it. It's not a town hall as such where you have an administration, it's just something you can hire and use. Weddings, receptions, town meetings, I guess. And just across the road there is the school. So we'll have a look at the school and see what she has to offer for the locals. And they are taking enrolments. So here we have the buddy bench at the primary school. I think it's a great idea, these buddy benches. This looks like a portable. It's become sort of more permanent than portable. And the school looks like it's growing. They are taking enrolments, as I mentioned a few seconds ago. But it's a terrific school. Now I can tell you right now that the sandpit, and if I was a kid coming here, I'd be pretty rapt because they have a really good collection of Tonka toys. And I was pretty keen on these Tonka toys when I was a little kid. I thought they were fantastic. And obviously as they spend more time in the sandpit, there's a lot more rust to them. There's a few plastic ones that might last the test of time. But good old Tonka trucks, that's a good memory to relive. So once again, it's these primary schools that are in the country that just seem to be more fulfilling environmentally. You don't have the constant traffic noise if you're in the suburbs of Melbourne, and I think the kids get to explore a lot more and get themselves more involved with nature. So this looks like an area where they come and gather and have a chit-chat, I guess, about certain things, or even if it's a nice day, have a class out here. But have a look at their backyard, so to speak, at the school. It is terrific. There is a oval out there and a bit of a cricket pitch happening, but that's terrific. So if you are looking for a country change, I can tell you right now that this school's pretty good. Very clean. And something that you probably don't notice as much, or you can't sort of take in the senses on a video, is the smell of a rural setting. So you can very much smell livestock, but not in a bad way. Don't think I'm thinking about the things that cows leave behind. It's just got a different smell to it, which is very refreshing. So this is the school. It's very good. So now we're coming up to the Avenue of Honour for World War I, World War II, and all other subsequent conflicts. And it's going to be pretty hard to read this plaque, but I'll give it my best shot. Basically, it's all the names of all the people that served during those two main conflicts of World War I and World War II. Very good. And once again, this is a great area for touring on motorbikes. So here we have the Kongwak, or Uniting Church. And it does look like it gets used. Very clean once again. Hasn't been abandoned at all. And I'm guessing they must have a service now and then. So there's your concrete water tank to collect all the water from the guttering. Here's your back door, and this is your view. Now there is some lead light glass on the church. It's very much protected, which is great. Now this is what it looks like from the inside. I've got my hand covering the glass, and hopefully you're getting a bit of a picture going. Now it looks like a nice little church, especially for a little country town. This is just another angle that I'm trying to give you the opportunity to see what's inside. I've had to use my hand to cover the glass so we don't get the reflection, So here we are at another plaque for Kongwak and district, and these are the names of those who made the ultimate sacrifice during the Second World War from this region or this district. So for all those bushwalkers out there, and I'm guessing also for the guys on mountain bikes, not motorbikes, but just the pedalling type, you've got the Kongwak Pioneer Reserve, and I'll go up to that little shelter area and tell you what it's all about. Yeah, definitely no horses, no motorcycles, but I'm going to assume that it's okay for bicycles. So here's your map and legend of where you can walk. They range from anywhere from 25 minutes to 45 minutes. And the difficulty is basically easy to moderate. So as you can see, there is definitely a weekly Sunday market at Kongwak. And I'm still at the Pioneer sort of memorial garden. And we'll have a closer look at this. There are toilets in the background, which is great. They do appear to be open. There's a couple of tennis courts. So I'll just give you a better look at the barbecue. It's just that button you press and away you go. There's nowhere where you have to put any money in. It looks like someone's been looking after it, but obviously you clean as you go. The sign obviously makes it quite clear. Please clean barbecue after use. Thank you very much. Now I'll take this opportunity just to quickly conclude with all the researched information I found, and this is what follows. Kongwak, by some residents, described itself as the Valley of Peace. The new renovated fire station opened in 2013, and the dilemma with this place centres around a Melbourne couple that purchased a disused Kongwak Butter and Cheese Factory in 2020. with plans to turn the site into a 130-seat restaurant, art gallery, wedding venue and accommodation. This proposal development has been met with passionate opposition from some residents. Now, as I'm walking around the area, I do give my 2 cents worth. I even make the mistake of calling the butter factory a mill. I just had forgotten the research I'd done earlier. So when I get to that, just excuse my error, and I think I correct myself as I'm walking around. So here we are at the Foster Creek Bridge, and to the right is the mill, which we'll have a look as well. I'm not sure how close we can get to it. I believe it's privately owned, and I think it's also being occupied by people, so it's not abandoned at all, and so we have to respect that. Now, there's something about the creek which is a bit of a worry. There's definitely a stench of something that's died. Now, it's either some sort of animal, but the smell is quite overwhelming. So we'll go on the other side. Once again, just a reminder, if you are coming out here on a Sunday, today being Saturday, that's why it's all quiet, I am noticing more and more signs telling people to observe parking restrictions and people's private property, which is only fair. Now, I don't know if you can see that on the left there in the middle of the screen. That's where your market is. It's closed up, but we can have a bit of a look and see what it looks like. And this is supposed to be quite busy. Now, also, I'm pronouncing it as Kongwak. If I've pronounced it as Kongwak a few times, well, if I have, I apologise. I think I'm pretty sure it's Kongwak on the pronunciation. So there's your mill that definitely someone lives at, and that's the factory side of it. I think it's not a mill, actually. I'll correct that and say I believe, if I've done my research correctly, and I remember, because the research I did for this town was probably close to a year ago, I think that's a butter factory, not a mill. So I've corrected myself, and I'm pretty sure I'm correct. If I'm not, we'll find out shortly when I get back home and do all the editing for this video. But yeah, no, that's a butter factory, not a mill at all. So yeah, there you go. And there's the market, and it looks like they do collectibles, arts and craft, trash and treasure. There is a telephone box there and a postal box, so the town has both of those things. And let's take a closer look at the best. I am at a disadvantage because it's not open today, and I probably couldn't do half the videoing that I wanted to do if there are people here, because some people unfortunately do get a little bit upset if you walk around with the camera in your hand, which is understandable, but totally legal, as in I'm entitled to go and videotape things in a public area, but you've got to respect, when you can, people's privacy. So there's somewhat of a nursery. There's someone that's selling hats, and it does appear that most of the things for sale, or when everything occurs, is indoors. So that's actually a big plus, because a lot of the outdoor markets are subject to the environment. So if you get a rotten day, you might be able to enjoy it. Whereas if it's indoors, rain, hail or shine, it doesn't really matter. So here's the Kongwak community notice on what's going on in town. Hey, you only get to see these telephone boxes now in country or rural settings. I don't see any of them hardly in the suburbs of Melbourne. So here we have the post box, and here's one of the more fortunate stall owners that can display things in the window. Wow, that's terrific. I'll see if I can come in. It is open. I better ask before I proceed. So now that you've seen the inside, or at least one store that's next to the market, this is your butter factory. Now with the historical photos, you'll see that this was sort of a fairly big business. And I'm assuming it must have employed quite a lot of the locals or people within the district also. There's your roller doors and loading bays. I guess the trucks would pull up and load up, and away you go. Now, there is some controversy with this butter factory and the property next door. Now, the drama really centres around this being converted into like a convention centre, somewhere where you can have a reception for weddings and whatnot. And some of the locals really do like to keep this a Sleepy Hollow, which is totally understandable. But then you've got to look at another aspect of it. If this is to go ahead, there's every chance it will employ a number of the locals and their kids on a part-time basis. But that's where you have to juggle it. You know, people who come to this area or areas or towns like this really enjoy their privacy and they value it highly, and they don't want to see it to become busy and commercial. So it's just one of those things, you know, where do you sit and what do you do? So I'm assuming this property here, which is the homestead for the butter factory, are the new owners. So I guess you've got to come to some compromise with the residents. But it is a lovely little town. It is very much a Sleepy Hollow. So that's your Kongwak CFA station. Now it's just been renovated and improved. So that's the what's it, Country Fire Authority. And there you go. And that's right near the butter factory, the old butter factory, and that Sunday market. Once again, I really do have to reiterate, if you're coming out here on a Sunday, park legally. Residents get quite annoyed, and if you do come out on a Saturday like I have, that one store is opened. It seems like he opens up at 11 o'clock, and he's got a lot of stuff in there. Very nice gentleman, knows the history of the township very well, and very accommodating with information. So there you go. I hope you enjoy the video. So now we'll continue on to look at other things. video, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, by all means, click on that like button or that thumbs up icon. Please consider subscribing. Subscribing doesn't cost you 1 cent, but it helps out the channel immensely. But most importantly, stay safe, commute safe, and have a great day.